The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio, and in that studio, it's Fridays with Phil, Assemblyman Phil Palmesano. Good morning, Phil. Move that camera a little bit for you. I want to get a good shot on you. We've got a lot to talk about today. I definitely want to ask you about the fair, but wow, the breaking news yesterday. The woman arrested for allegedly plotting basically an ISIS-style attack on the Capitol.
Yeah, that's pretty alarming, for sure.
I would say.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, you always worry about things going wrong, and they have done things to, up to security at the state capitol. But I just think sometimes it just seems like the state level doesn't get the attention you hear at other levels. And
right.
Hear something like that, it's just makes you think. It's
pretty
worrisome.
Yeah, reading all this, I mean, she was, luckily she didn't know she was talking to the FBI.
Right.
But I mean, she had bought the bomb-making material. I mean,
right.
This wasn't something to take lightly. Does that make you concerned as when you get ready to go back to session?
Well, I think there's always a somewhat of a concern you have, in positions like this, given what you see in the environment, whether it's the political environment, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I can't focus on that. It's
right.
There's people that put me in this position to represent their interests, and I'll just continue to focus on that and working hard and hoping to make sure their voice is heard. And I can only control the things I can control. Thank
exactly.
God, obviously, our authorities were on top of it. I think I have trust in the security up in Albany, so they all do a good job for us. So,
and the FBI being involved in
yes.
A lot of it sounded like she was less than 2 miles from the Capitol is where she lived. So I think a lot of it, and she said it was the biggest government building, and I'm paraphrasing, biggest government building she could find. So I think this lady just wanted to do as much damage anywhere that she could.
I think one of the comments I saw, something she made, is that I want to take out all the senators, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty scary.
Oh.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate we're in that type of environment, and we shouldn't be.
Oh, exactly.
We should have our differences, but not be in an environment like that.
And we talk about this so much on the program because that's one instance. But you see Judge Janine, now U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro, they had that guy in New York that was threatening to kill her. I mean, things are getting scary, Phil.
Oh, it's very, very scary. I mean, you can go back to obviously what happened to Charlie Kirk. You can go back to
how many assassination attempts on Trump?
That, and then even in the healthcare executive. I mean, it's just
and now they praise that guy that killed him like he's a hero, like a pop star.
It's very, very, very concerning that people even celebrate that.
I know. We've got so much to talk about, Phil. Been a little while. It hasn't been too long. How was the fair though? Let's change the happy note. Sure. Happy note. We went from scary to happy. How was Steuben County Fair?
It was good. I got there early enough to watch one of the pig races.
Oh, did you? I only got a little clip of it.
And I did get a root beer float before I went to the booth. So I remember Joe got me one of those last year. So it was pretty good.
Oh, you can't beat it. And they did good on signs. I don't know how many you gave away.
We did. I was there from 4 to 6, and we gave a lot of Blakeman signs. A few Langworthy signs, but a lot of people coming by. A couple people said, I can't carry it around now. Can I come back? Oh, yes, it'll be here.
Yes, I know. I forgot to grab one for myself. I must have gave away 20, which 20 yesterday, I got the kind of the worst time slot, 12 to 2. Normally it's great. Just rained, poured. So the last maybe 5 minutes when it started to clear up, that's when everybody came in. Hey, I need a Blakeman sign. I ended up giving away 20 probably in the last 10 minutes.
That's great.
Yeah. People were excited, and they said, I've been looking all over for them. I said, this is...
I heard the same thing.
Yeah, about 2 months earlier than we normally get. I mean, normally, you know how it is. It's maybe around Labor Day we start to hear tricklings of they could be here, could be here. We're really lucky to have that many signs.
No question. There was a gentleman from Hornell came up to me when I was talking to him. He goes, where are the signs from Hornell? I go, we're going to get them there. He goes, well, the Democrats they're up already. I go, but I want a bunch because I have a big yard and corner lot. So there's just, there seems to be some excitement growing. And I think he can capitalize on that, and I think he's going to get up here more. And if he does get up here more, I know obviously he was on your show. We had him in downtown Corning. I mean, it's a big state. I think the numbers are moving in the right direction. I've seen polls. I've seen what, the underlying questions. I mean, Governor Hochul, her poll numbers are not good at all.
Did you see she just put out millions of dollar ad campaign with TAC ads? You don't do millions of dollars in the TAC ads if you're not scared.
Yeah.
In the past we've seen her and Cuomo used to do it where there were ads about how great he was. That's what you normally see this time of year. When she's hitting Blakeman trying to compare him to Trump, something behind the scenes are telling her the polls aren't what you think they are.
So that's everything they do is all Trump.
I know.
They think that may work at the end of the day, but it's what are you doing
Yes.
to help improve my quality of life? What are you doing, Governor, to make my life more safe and secure so I can feel safe in my home, safe in my community? What are you doing, Governor, to help address my rising utility bills that your PSC commissioners keep approving?
Right.
What are you doing, Governor, to address, energy choice so I can choose what I want to heat and heat my home and cook my food with?
Exactly. Can you imagine the audacity? I know Blakeman called her out on it yesterday because of the ads when the news broke that she was going to do multi-million-dollar ad campaign, that she had the audacity to say, I cut taxes for middle-class families. That's one of her talking points. And then how about this one? I took on utility companies.
Oh, my God.
I know. And it's like Blakeman said, what she really did is rubber stamp 48 separate utility rate increases, and now you pay 70% more than the rest of the nation for electricity. I would also add, like we talked a million times, not to get on this tangent, but the policies that she's put forth and the green energy policies, that's what's caused this rise.
Oh, no question about these green energy mandates. All you have to go is look what the NICE saw. They identified three things. Yes, natural gas is impacting the price, but when you have plant retirements and not building new power plants and not getting approved for new power plants, that affects the supply. When you have pipeline constraints, not approving pipeline projects or delaying pipeline projects, so you can't get the gas into the state from areas that have the gas, and obviously we know what happened with fracking, that will not allow us to have supply here. Those types of things affect the supply and then increase the price. And then on the other part they mentioned is these rising electrification mandates for the green mandates for whether it's electric vehicles, electric heat pumps. All these things are contributing to the rising utility rates. And so that's the problem, her green mandates. And they can talk about, they say they're for an all-above approach, but their policies don't match the words. And that's what I talked about when I traveled the state last year.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I like that Blakeman's hitting back. I also like the fact that Blakeman has done pretty darn well fundraising. You know, you get nervous, and you and I have talked about it a million times. We don't like the matching funds idea, but that's the rules of the game.
Yes.
So he deserves those matching funds. And so now that he's got it, I mean, at least we've got a fighter's chance.
Yes, and we had to fight to get those.
I know.
Even though
we still are. They're trying to sue him again because of AI.
It's crazy. It's amazing.
How scared are they that they went after it? And now I'm going to get mad because, you know, Phil, they told us it was about the little guy being able to take on the incumbent. We said at the time it's going to be just taxpayers wasted money to fund these campaigns. So then finally the little guy takes on the incumbent and they say, never mind.
Right.
We don't want him to have it.
Yeah.
So it's a completely partisan.
They want it for everyone else, but not for them.
Yeah, exactly. It's so frustrating. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised just at the fair, just the excitement for Blakeman, and they know his name. You know,
yes.
I mean, I'm not saying they didn't know Lee Zeldin. I'm not saying that. But sometimes this point in the year, there's not a lot of talk. They just go, I want anybody but Hochul, which is fine. I'll take that. But they actually called out Bruce Blakeman by name.
But he's hitting the main points. Quality of life, cost of living, utility prices, public safety. Those are the things that are going to resonate with people. Those are the things that are resonating with people.
And I like the fact, too, that he hits on this, and we've hit on it a lot as well, that you've got to tie with the disastrous policies coming from Zohran Mamdani's administration. Governor Hochul endorsed Zohran Mamdani right on the gate.
Yeah.
His policies are her policies are his policies. That's they are hand in hand.
And it was shown during the budget process. I mean, total bailout for New York City.
Exactly.
Billions of dollars to New York City to deal with their fiscal situation. I mean,
and then you've got his policies with a second home tax and all this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you saw the headline this morning. Morgan Stanley picks Dallas for an expansion outside of New York City. It's another Wall Street exodus.
It's just a continued exodus of capital and investment that could and should be in New York, the financial capital of the world, to like whether it's Miami, Dallas, these other states that are more business friendly. I mean, in this tax that he's trying to do in New York City, which is hitting people that aren't really. There's people trying to fight to protect themselves, and they're getting hit on their own homes, and it's just mind blowing that investment doesn't have to be there. And you can see there are studies out there showing that you have more people leaving the state and it's being replaced by people with less income, so it's a net loss of taxable income, billions of dollars in taxable income. Ultimately, those taxes are going to come down to everyone else. And it's just, I don't know. And their whole thing is let's tax more, let's spend more. Yeah. Never let's tighten our belt. Like the small business, the farmer, the family, the viewer on your show are making difficult decisions each and every day to their ends meet, whereas the state of New York just says, hey, we'll just spend more money, and they keep forgetting it's the people's money.
Exactly. And now this is at the national level, not the state level. Sure. But I was watching the news yesterday. I won't say which channel it was. It was a local news broadcast. And they were talking about the $40 trillion in debt we are. And this is just to talk about what you're saying here. They said, well, they had some economists. Why do you think we're at $40 trillion? He goes, oh, it's because of the past tax cuts. Everybody thinks, like, I guess all money is the government's money. We should just be happy to keep what little bit they let us keep.
Even if they increase taxes like 70%,
yeah.
They wouldn't even begin to dodge. It's the growth of a lot of these programs never put. I mean, look at the fact that, I mean, they're talking about Social Security running out of money,
yeah.
Medicare running out of money in the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to come to a solution. They got to stop finger pointing, and that's, people want us to work together on these things, but no one wants to touch anything that's.
I read a fantastic piece yesterday, and I don't think I brought it up on the show. Remember when Democrats hated this idea of privatizing parts of Social Security back in the day with George W. Bush? Mm-hmm. If you do the math, people on Social Security right now, if they would have invested that small little bit, they'd be making double or triple what they would have receiving right now.
Right, and I think the problem when they talked about that, it was this, they put the fear in older people, those people who, it was the whole design of that and talk about that was never to affect those people that were at retirement age or close to retirement. It was those who were like 20, 30, 40 years from retirement age. People getting out of college today and getting jobs for younger people to do that. Yep. But the red flag goes off, and then it just makes it more difficult. We need to have some protection of these funds, but otherwise, I mean, they're going to have to. If they don't make a decision, obviously I'm not the federal level; it's above my pay grade. But,
right.
They're going to have to make some serious decisions with Social Security and Medicare both.
I know we're jumping around all together here.
Yeah, no, but that's all right.
It all fits in. But back to the Morgan Stanley, just to reiterate to the viewers, the financial giant plans to relocate up to 4,800 jobs to Texas. And then, according to the firm, $1.3 billion, 709,000 square foot skyscraper going to Texas. And we talked about this before. I think it's an extremely clever name. They call it Y'all Street in Texas instead of Wall Street, Y'all Street. But yeah, I mean, think of that money. That was investments we could have had in New York. 4,800 jobs is nothing to sneeze at.
Are those new jobs, or are they moving those jobs from
relocate?
New York? So they were in New York now, and they're going.
Yep.
So think about that, ladies and gentlemen. That's those jobs are high-paying jobs, 100, 200, 300, 400 plus jobs that they pay taxable income on.
Yep.
Those jobs are gone. That taxable income is gone. And now we get replaced by people with lower income, and that's what happened. I still go back to that. I bring the statistic because it reminds me. In 2000, we lost 3.57 million New Yorkers with an average income of $140,000, replaced by 3.5 million New Yorkers with an average income of $80,000. Net loss of just 70,000 people. I shouldn't just say just 70,000 people, but a net loss of $34 billion in taxable income. That is not the type of economics that make people want to stay here. Like Governor Hochul saying, I should just go down there and say, hey, come on back. They're not going to come back. It's like Andrew Cuomo saying it's the weather. It's not the weather climate. It's the business climate. It's the tax climate. It's the freedom climate that are making people. Even at the fair, I talk to people that I want to get out of here. I'm like, don't go yet. Stay here and fight. Yeah.
Well, you saw the polls. We've talked about it numerous times where people have their 5 to 10 year plans. That the majority of New Yorkers have a 5 or 10 year plan about moving out. Yeah. And I can't tell you whether radio, whether TV, how many viewers and listeners I've lost through the years that would call or text and say, love it, love the show, but we got to move.
Right. That's the only thing I would say to you. Don't go yet. Yeah. Let's stay and fight. Let's win this one. We can win this race. Mm-hmm. And if we elect Bruce Blakeman, we will turn the state around. We can at least stop the bleeding and start trying to get head in a better direction.
And what a ticket! And that's
yes.
And I got to take a break, but we're going to have Joseph Hernandez on Monday.
That's great.
Really excited about it. We had him on once before. They're both. When we talk about Attorney General, we talk about Comptroller. We put together a great ticket. It's something to be proud of.
Yeah, very, very exciting, and we can move on this because. They're working too.
We got to get Sharitha. I'm trying my best.
Great.
She's great. So I had her on Zoom. Fantastic. But I got to get her in the studio.
Yep.
I got to get the hat trick. All three of them in the studio.
We'll do that.
All right. We got to take a short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this. Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. In that studio, Assemblyman Phil Palmesano. Phil, this is something that I think gets overlooked a lot, and I would say our viewers really smart. They're up on the news, but a lot of people wouldn't know this about the National Guard is still in our state prisons.
Yes.
I bet you 9 out of 10 people, if you ask them, they think it was all over.
Yes.
But
It's
when
not.
you see the numbers,
It's not. I mean, there's a recent report that we're still spending over $50 million a month.
a month,
A month.
$50 million a month.
Well over, I don't know what the final number is, well over $500 million has been spent. I believe it's coming out close to $1 billion, but I know it's well over $500 million. When you think of when it started back in February.
Yeah.
At the peak, we were looking at over 7,000 National Guards men and women inside our correctional facilities.
Yes.
You know, over 9,000 have worked. The other study said there was like some 831,000 days they have worked. Why is all this happening? And Governor Hochul decided to fire 2,000 corrections officers instead of bringing them back.
Right.
You know, failing to recognize this all started because of failed and dangerous policies being implemented by the state. Our corrections officers and NYSCOBA Corrections Officers Union have sounded the alarm about this for years.
For years.
With the passage of HALT. And for the viewers, I know we talked about that. What HALT is, it basically allows our corrections officers to segregate the most dangerous and violent inmates from the rest of the general populations.
Right.
When we passed HALT, it put severe restrictions on the ability, and sometimes eliminated that ability of those corrections officers to segregate those most dangerous and violent inmates from the rest of the general population. And we said this was going to increase violence, and it has.
Yes.
And you just look at the statistics from day one. In the first 3 years of the program, the last year number is skewed because of the work protest, strikes, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But the first 3 years, which we were talking about, inmate on staff assaults rose over 76% to a record high of over 2,000. Inmate on inmate, and you think they'd care about the inmates, you know, because the policy seemed to favor
the inmates.
criminals over law enforcement and public safety.
Good point.
But inmate on inmate assaults have increased over 169% in the first 3 years to a near record level of 3,000. And in contraband seizures increased over 32% from to a record high 4,700 versus 3,500 previously. So it's just this pattern of these failed policies, and you have the prison closures making more people in fewer facilities, and not having the staffing and providing the flexibility. It was affecting their quality of life. That's when they got to the tipping point to send us. And still nothing's been done with HALT.
No.
Even though there's recommendations that came out from the governor's own people in agreement with the corrections and all the other unions.
Right.
To make reform, not just repeal HALT. I mean, I think HALT should be repealed, but these were significant reforms to HALT. They still haven't done that. Because why? Why not put it in their budget? I remember asking the question during the budget hearings to the Governor's Office of Employee Relations, to the Commissioner of Corrections. They go, well, that's the policy. I go, you signed it. Your name's on this.
Yeah.
You work for the governor, sir.
Yeah.
Governor's Office of Employee Relations. This is your name on it. Why aren't you doing this? Because you don't care.
No.
And it's just sad. But then it's just in what has happened. We've seen how many deadly violence over the past several months. Attica, Collins, within within a week of each other, and in the North Country a few months before that. You see, every week I get a report of.
I'm looking at this right now, and it's
week after week.
Yeah, 5 hospitalized, series of fights of Groveland. Cool. 1 officer slashed, another hurt during gang-related inmate fight at Green Correctional. Collins Correctional inmate killed in altercation at Collins Correctional Facility. By the way, I should do it by date. July 22nd, 3 civilians arrested smuggling drugs. Mother had 11-year-old daughter hold drugs during visit. July 21st, Collins Correctional, 6 officers injured by inmate at Collins Correctional. July 20th, we can keep going. Incarcerated man dies in state prison cell fire. 18, Attica Correctional, inmate killed, another hospitalized in fight at Attica. I mean, the list goes on. I think people will zone out if I keep reading them. But
there's a civilian nurse.
That's right.
Shoulder at Elmira.
Yeah.
It's every day there's this happening.
8 officers assaulted at Collins. 8 officers. Wow.
I mean, it's just day after day, week after week. These are more stories about this. What's it going to take, Governor Hochul?
Yeah.
What's it going to take to my Democratic colleagues in Albany to act and give our corrections officers the tools and resources they need to be safe while doing their job, but also to protect the other inmates who really there are a number of inmates that just want to do their time and get out, but they're being under assault because there's gang-related violence inside our correctional facility. If you don't think there's gang-related violence going on, then you don't know.
And they don't have choices.
They don't have choices.
Yeah.
It's very, very scary. That's what's happening. This violence is just one thing after another.
When did National Guardsmen get trained to be prison guards?
They did.
I know that.
And they put them through like some little briefing, but
that's
they don't know. I mean, some of these are 18, 19-year-old kids.
It's a National Guard.
I hate to say kids, but young men and women.
Right.
That got pulled out of college.
Yes.
To go do this.
Because of Hochul's arrogance, essentially.
Arrogance, mismanagement, failed policies. All this is a creation of these failed policies of her and her predecessor.
Just imagine that. You sign up for the National Guard, which there's a real fear that can come with the National Guard. Next thing you know, you're calling your parents from prison saying, hey, I've been here for 6 months.
Yes, it's mind-blowing. It's just terrible, terrible, terrible. But it's not just a cost to those individuals. It's a cost to the taxpayers. You're paying for this, ladies and gentlemen, because of these failed policies. Again, we have a choice this November to make.
And one more time, $50 million
$50 million a month, and over $500 million has been spent. I believe it's closer to $1 billion, but I got to be 100% sure. But well over $500 million a month. I know we were talking about during the budget debate back in April, May.
I want to tie this in with other public safety issues. Like we were talking about with Blakeman, who's taking public safety. Look at Nassau County. He doesn't mess around when it comes to public safety. So I want to talk about that. But first, we got a comment from a viewer. Good morning, Phil. And good morning to both of us. Phil, the comptroller is a watchdog over local government when there is wrongful activity going on. How do we, the people, get in on the act? We have sent complaint forms after complaint form, no action, no help. Ask people to give to Blakeman's campaign. Well, that's one way to do it. But yeah, I mean, the struggle, listen, people are going to love Joseph Hernandez if you haven't seen him watching on Monday.
Right. Very sharp.
I will say Tom DiNapoli, the job that he does is to make Tom DiNapoli look good. You know, I don't know if you get the press releases, but the only thing that he cares about is getting that star-studded, perp walk so I can understand why you have the frustration, because if it's not a big enough story where he can get his name in the news, he doesn't care about it, would be my opinion. I'll say it. All right,
there's a lot more they could do, for sure.
Yes, exactly. All right, we got to take a short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox. The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. In that studio, Assemblyman Phil Palmesano. Phil, we got a great question here from Ken, and he writes, if, and this is a big if, we get enough Republicans and independents to the polls to defeat Hochul and her puppet masters and elect Bruce Blakeman, there will most likely still be a supermajority of Democrats in Albany legislature. Do you think Blakeman will be able to move his agenda forward?
I do, and I still think we're going to break the supermajority, which will be helpful, especially on possible veto overrides or to help preserve a veto. But I think, and I'm generally not a fan of policy in the budget, but I think he's going to have to use policy in the budget. I mean, Governor Hochul's done it because the executive has a tremendous amount of authority and power when it comes to the budget.
Right.
So I think he's going to have to navigate that. I think he will navigate that, but he'll be a duly elected governor. They're going to have to work with him, and so they're not going to just be able to ignore his agenda. So he's going to have to force through his agenda, and I think he'll do it because he'll have a mandate to do so.
Yep. All right. So we were talking about I guess public safety in prisons, you could say, but there's been so much going on about public safety in general. Bruce Blakeman has been talking about it. Let's talk about, I'm sure you saw, about shoplifting shouldn't really be a crime.
Oh my God.
Right? Is that what, I mean, that's what we learned earlier in the week.
I saw that my colleague,
it's a crime of necessity.
She's not just a Democrat, she's a self-proclaimed, self-described Democratic socialist. And that, it's biological. I think it was one of the words she used.
Emily Gallagher says shoplifting is for biological needs. It's okay.
Yeah, it's just
that's
so
what businesses need to hear.
In New York. I think everyone in the article goes, "This is ludicrous. This is crazy." There's no one other than one of the advocates who were there saying this is a good idea.
No,
the business owners don't think this is a good idea. The regular, everyday person on the street, the residents do not think this is a good idea. What kind of message does it send? Yes. That, hey, go ahead. If you need it, you just take it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to pay for it. I mean, give me a break. I mean, how out of touch is this individual? How out of touch are the Democratic Socialists with what people in New York are thinking? I mean, it's just mind-blowing to me.
And if you look at the numbers, I saw a really good opinion piece on this. When it comes to shoplifting in New York City, it's not somebody getting toothpaste like that. This is a crime syndicate. They're going in and it's a job. It's not like, a kid pocketing a candy bar. It's a multi
Oh, it's definitely. And I've seen polls that talk about even on socialism. What among Democrats, over 50% had a positive impact of socialism versus 30% for capitalism.
Yeah.
That's scary, right there. What kind of message is that sending? But you're right. It is a crime thing. I mean, it's raised in. I mean, you look at how they use programs like Raise the Age to basically get younger people to carry on even heinous crimes because they know they're not going to do any time. They're not going to be held accountable because they're going to get put over to the family court system instead of the criminal justice system, criminal court system. I mean, that's become a gang recruitment too. That's 100%. Been a failure. And I guess Governor Hochul, there was a comment saying she's not looking to make any changes to that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, what more do you need to do? I mean, you see this.
How many lives have been ruined?
Yes.
Because Raise Age. A young person that gets recruited into a gang may not have otherwise been in that gang. How many lives have been ruined because Kathy Hochul and this misguided idea that how did you not see this coming a mile away? Yeah. That gangs would use this. Gangs are smart, not in a good way,
right?
But they're going to recruit so that 16-year-old murders someone, gets away with it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
But still, their life's going to be messed up.
The rest of their life. They're going to be in gangs the rest of their life. Yeah. And how many people have lost their life because of that recruit?
And we're talking about, there's two. The person who loses their life and then the other person who gets caught up in it.
Yeah.
Because the system isn't there. They're really not there to help them. And they don't get any help. They just get passed along and then they go on to the next thing. Just like the bail reform. They get catch and release, get out. You see the person who murdered the lady down south. She came out, got released, and gone, killed. I mean, that's just one person after another. There's more and more examples of this each and every day. Just like there's more every week we have violence of those types of crimes in our correctional facilities. We have violence in our streets, in our communities, whether they're illegal aliens or whether they're other people taking advantage of the laws.
Right.
And the policies in the state seem, and I said this at our press conference, it seems like the policies in our state continue to tip the scales of justice in favor of the criminal, the violent criminal, the murderer, the child rapist, the sex offender, over the interests of public safety, over the interests of crime victims and crime victims' families, and over the interests of law enforcement. That's wrong. That needs to change, and it needs to change soon, and it will change under Bruce Blakeman.
Exactly, and I'm sure you saw this. We mentioned on the program the other day, a New York City thief busted 150 times, is arrested again just weeks after being cut loose. 150 times, Phil. I mean, if that doesn't speak to coddling the criminals, and every single day it seems like that we're tying the hands of law enforcement when we can.
What about right here in Corning, that scumbag who assaulted, raped, and ended up murdering, causing her death, a 90-year-old lady? That person was just released from prison several days before.
I think it was 4 days.
Yeah. I mean, why they were in prison? Why were they not out? Why were they out of prison in the first place? I mean, that's
got something for like aggravated vehicular assault. Why is he out?
But I think the underlying thing is that he ran someone over intentionally.
Yeah.
I mean, that person should never have been inside.
No.
Outside.
We have so many, and that's a sad thing.
That's the sad thing. There are so many stories like this, and when we bring it up, then the other side says, "Well, we're racist. We don't care. Yeah. We want public safety. People deserve to be safe and feel safe in their home, in their community. Unfortunately, people do not feel safe and are not safe in their home and community because of these failed and dangerous policies."
Exactly. Mark writes in, Phil, the belief that shoplifting isn't a crime. I wonder what it will do to the price of goods. I believe they will skyrocket. I don't think we'll be able to buy them. I think the companies won't come here to...
Well, they'll still just blame it all on Trump.
Yeah, exactly. But if you look at it, I had this happen once, and we're getting it a little bit here at some of the stores. But, you need shaving cream or you need a razor, and you got to call 3 people over, and they got to unlock it, and they each need it. I mean, that's how crazy it is. So the inconvenience, but also, of course, costs are rising. But in the city specifically... Why would a big box store even consider moving into the city?
Exactly.
If we're going to just encourage, essentially, shoplifting.
That's what she's doing.
Yeah.
And that's what, not just her, that's what the Democratic Socialists are doing in a lot of these policies. I mean, defund the police. They rather have social workers on the street than our law enforcement on the street.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy policies that make no sense whatsoever.
To quote this is about the lady that suggested shoplifting, it shouldn't be a crime. Former Queens Councilman Robert Holden said, Gallagher is a major dope. That was his official statement. So on that note, I think that's a good place to take a break. Stay with us. Keep those comments coming in for Phil. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox. Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. A couple comments from viewers. Good morning, Frank, and good morning, Phil. Have a great weekend. That's nice.
Thank you.
A comment from a different viewer, and it literally says, just a comment. It will be interesting, if not telling, to see how the New York courts handle the radical Islamic woman who wanted to blow up the Capitol. That is, I mean, don't you hate the thing when you see an article like that, that's one of your first thoughts, is how New York courts are going to handle this? Because she looked it up. She said, I Googled it. I'm supposed to be in jail the rest of my life. And we said on the show, just because you Googled it doesn't mean some judge in New York City is going to believe it, right?
Yeah, true.
Pretty scary. Okay. Yesterday you had a big press conference with a great turnout. Tell us about funding cuts. And this seems so, sometimes it blows your mind what they cut. Child advocacy centers across our area.
Yes, we had a press conference yesterday, Senator Romero and myself. We had representatives from the child advocacy centers, statewide and regionally and locally, came and spoke, and other advocates, but Sheriff Allard was there, District Attorney Brooks Baker was there, Sheriff Rumsey from Schuyler County, and other law enforcement were there. We came together in one unified voice to say to Governor Hochul, restore this $7 million. These funds are used for these child advocacy centers to help children, mind you, who have been victims of crime, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and these child advocacy centers know how to deal with these individuals, these children, in a setting that's proper for them. And it's mind-blowing to me that we're talking about cutting this program. This will have a devastating impact, and there are some in our area that lost total funding, so no money. And what happened is it's a grant program funding. They had I think it was like how many grant applications came in, but it's exceeded the amount that they had. But that shows that there's a need, and for the governor not to just send out a letter saying there's no more money, that's not the way to do it. And we're talking about $7 million. I mean,
I know we're not scoffing at $7 million,
but in the context,
we just talked about $50 million for the National Guard.
$50 million for a National Guard
a month.
Yes, $277 billion budget, more than $250 billion. Budgeting is about priorities. What are we saying about our priorities if we aren't taking care of our most vulnerable citizens, our children who are victims of abuse? They should be a priority. And let's look at some of the other priorities of this administration. She's put out a big press conference a few weeks ago saying, I have $7 million to help fund legal defense for illegal aliens.
Oh, that's right.
There's $7 million right there. So the illegal aliens, law defense is more priority than children of sexual abuse, physical abuse. Give me a break. But we can go through the billions of dollars. We talked about the bailout for New York City and Mayor Mondami. Tens of millions of dollars in extra funding for cities above and beyond what they normally get. But the one I always like to talk about, I talk about this on the floor every year. We have this program called the Empire State Film Tax Credit. I refer to it as the Hollywood Film Tax Credit. It basically provides tax credits to filming and things happening in New York State. In some regards, I can see, okay, that maybe that's a good, but one of the programs to receive money from this is Saturday Night Live. Right. Since 2015, they received over $50+ million. How do they start out their show every week? Live from what?
New York.
Yes, live from New York. Not live from Saskatchewan. No. They're not going anywhere. No. They're here to stay. Why are we subsidizing? Why are we subsidizing them? Why are we subsidizing Jimmy Fallon's show? And it's not just below line for the workers. It's helping now to fund, their paychecks. And it's just mind blowing to me. And there was a report that came out there that said it's a boondoggle. I think how much, $1.2 billion or so.
$1.2 billion in your money, taxpayer dollars, last year was spent for Hollywood.
It's crazy.
In Hollywood, like the glitz and glamour of Hollywood.
Yes,
I mean, actors.
Again, budgeting is about priorities. So what does it say? The governor touts these programs. I mean, I think we should fund these programs for our children. I mean, that's a priority. That needs to be a priority. And we were there in one voice to say, Governor Hochul, restore this money. And she could do it today. We don't need to meet with the budget. We can do it within the context of the budget. And also, I brought up the fact that even our revenue receipts have come in stronger than anticipated over the past quarter, $3 billion more. So right there, you can use the existing budget structure. You don't have to raise taxes. You don't have to cut programs. You can use it within the existing budget structure. She has the ability to do that, and why she wouldn't want to do that right now is just mind-blowing to me. I mean, these are victims of crime.
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking for sure. And it's going to hamper the ability of our DA and our sheriff's office to do some of the work to do. They're going to continue to do what they can, but it's going to make it harder for them. Why? And these agencies, I mean, that are being cut across the state, is going to have a devastating impact on the services provided to these children. They're shutting down programs, dedicated employees who provide these services to these children. What are we doing? This makes no sense. Governor Hochul, restore this money today. You can do it, and you have the ability and authority to do it.
We've got to take a short break, and I think our last segment is going to be all questions from viewers. We got some great viewer questions coming in, so stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox. We are almost out of time. Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. In that studio, Assemblyman Phil Palmesano. A lot of great comments coming. All right, let's start off. Good morning, guys. Great show. The $1 billion to the Hollywood sounds like payola to keep favors to the Democrats. Well, Hollywood loves Democrats.
It's a boondoggle program, in my opinion.
It is. Good morning, Phil. Have a great day and a restful weekend. Isn't that nice?
Thank you.
Ken writes in, the idea that shoplifting is acceptable is already in our area. We visit one store on a weekly basis, and most of the time we see people with full to the brim shopping carts at self-checkout. The process is always the same. They sort through the stuff in their carts, scan as they go, never taking anything out of their cart, just moving it around. There's no possible way they could have scanned more than half the items in the cart before they pay and walk out. When we ask the door watchers why they allow this and don't check carts, we're told that they are told not to. I think the stores decided that they can cover their losses with less full-time employees at self-checkout. Yeah, you do see that. There's a lot of questions there.
No doubt.
There's been arrests in the past.
Wrong.
A comment from a different viewer regarding the budget. How is it that Pennsylvania only needed a budget of $50 billion, but New York requires over $250 billion?
Yeah.
Right?
Good question. Well, we spend more than Texas. We spend more than Florida.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Some of the time, at one point, we spend more than both of them combined.
Isn't that crazy? Sergeant Dave writes in and says, good morning, Sergeant Dave. We went to the Corning Farmers Market yesterday. It was great. The donuts, the cookies, and especially the fresh cooked chicken. It's impossible. I walk out back to my car, and that barbecue chicken, Phil, if you haven't been, oof. Little rain didn't stop us. We had a great time. Oh, that's nice. Thanks, Sergeant Dave. Yeah, it's always fun at this. It's almost like a carnival every week.
It's a great
huge.
market.
Yeah, they couldn't be doing a better job at the Gafford District with that.
Yes.
All right, comment from a different viewer. Forgive me, but every time I hear you mention the Hollywood funding of our tax dollars, it blows my mind. How did this come about, and why can't we stop it? It's insane to me. Does Phil recall when this was implemented? Well, first of all, it's one-party rule is why this happened.
Yeah, it was implemented many years ago.
I remember talking about it in the radio days, so
but
I would say
the program is just. I think it started around 400 million,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but it just got expanded. I just think I didn't like it at the time, and in my opinion, it's a ridiculous boondoggle of a program. It's just more misplaced priorities.
Absolutely. All right, before we go, a couple things. Since Sergeant Dave mentioned the farmers market, how great was it when you heard the news that the LPGA is coming back?
Wow.
Yeah. Didn't it seem like a rumor every year? Someone say, I hear it's coming back. And every year you go, okay, it's not coming back.
When we got the news, that's just going to be such an injection of excitement and from an economic perspective. But to have that come back, and Corning's always been on the map, but now to have that
perfect
here is going to be phenomenal. It's been how long? I'm trying to.
I think they said over 10 years.
Yeah, I mean it's
definitely over 10 years. Yeah,
it's just phenomenal news for our area.
Yeah, because I think that's at 2009, so it would almost be 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow. That went quick, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, it used to be so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody in the community gets involved. And I like that. And I think this was a smart move. They moved Glass Fest so that they're not competing against each other.
It was smart.
Yeah, I think so
you
too.
You can't. I mean, I think they brought Glass Fest in when we lost it. But yeah, you can still keep Glass Fest, change the date.
Exactly, they are. They're changing. They're doing it a little bit later in the summer.
Good.
But yeah, no, I'm excited about the LPGA. Comment from Mark. Mark writes in, Frank and Phil, great show. Have a great weekend. Everybody's so friendly this morning, Phil.
Thank you. Well, it's the weekend.
They're thinking about the weekend. They're
That's
thinking
Friday,
about going to the county
That's
fair.
why I like to come out on Friday. Everyone's in a better mood. Cause
no one ever wants to book Monday. Poor Joseph Hernandez. No.
He'll be fine, I think.
And right before, he's great.
Yeah, he is good.
I don't want to keep belaboring that. But so you had a big, we all heard about Corning Inc.'s 175th, but you had a big 175th, right? Wasn't it that?
Oh, yeah. We went to St. Anne's Church in Hornell. It was my home church growing up. I was an altar boy, at St. Anne's School. They celebrated their 175th anniversary So Senator Mayor and I went there.
Oh, that's cool.
Assemblyman Valencia, who goes to church there too. Now,
He got married there, right?
I believe.
I think that's what he said online.
But he couldn't be there. But but the bishop was there, so we had to do it that day when they celebrated him. But we did the three of us did a resolution and proclamation for the church, and we went to mass that day. And then, but we presented it at the kind of the gathering they had afterward. So it was nice to see the bishop there, and I took my mom over. She got a picture with the bishop. She was ecstatic. So it was nice. So it was a nice celebration too.
Well, it's been and we're just about out of time, but this has been a quick summer. But it's been a lot of good memories this summer.
Yes, it has been a really good summer. Quick summer, but a good summer.
And it's not over yet.
It's not over yet. We got a lot of work to do though this year.
I know.
Yes.
Keep that in mind.
Yes.
We're gonna be working hard. Final comment from a viewer, not for you, Phil, but with the viewer that shared the name of the store because I'm afraid to try to inquire face to face to try to get an answer. I, for one, am tired of paying more for this fraud and theft while they turn a blind eye. Yeah, that's what New York's doing, turning a blind eye. Sad.
Very
we
sad.
shouldn't have ended on that. No, we should have ended on the good note. Phil, thanks so much for giving us so much time this morning. Let's do it again soon. And congratulations on the fun time at the fair.
Thank you.
To see the
It
pig
was a good
race.
time.
I heard you picked the right pig.
I don't know if I did, but I had my root beer float in my hand, so I was happy.
That's exactly it. Make it out to the fair. Thanks, Phil. We will see everybody Monday morning. Again, Joseph Hernandez will be our guest. Tune in.